Hello and welcome in. This is Kicks and Giggles. Today we are presenting the personality of an Aries born person. But before we get into that, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if this is your first time viewing our channel. Honest and direct. Honesty perfectly characterizes those born under the sign Aries. They are keen and alert, and their words and actions are direct. Generally speaking, people born under this sign are open, cheerful, and full of energy. They are ambitious and aren't afraid to set the bar high with regard to their goals and dreams. This helps them to go farther in life. Aries are independent and highly intelligent. Sensitive to the well-being of others, they don't hesitate to defend the downtrodden. In case of controversy, Aries will use their horns to get what they want. Aries aren't shy, they're extroverted, and like to make people laugh and share their stories. They're very confident in themselves and their possibilities. They are courageous and can break boundaries to get where they want to be. They're brave and strong, both physically and mentally. Aries aren't the most spiritual people. They tend to be more practical and intellectual. They can also be too honest, to the great delight or dismay of their loved ones. They're straightforward when they have something to say. Subtlety is not their strong suit. Aries are friendly and they love people. They're kind and personable, but don't cross them. If they don't like you, you'll be the first to know. Aries are not backstabbers. They much prefer being totally transparent. There's no place for hypocrisy. Aries' personality, beauty, and charm. In addition to their wit, Aries tend to be in great shape and take pride in their appearance. Their extraordinary physique and undeniable beauty help them stand out in the crowd. Aries like to look good and stay in shape, so they're always happy to get lots of compliments on their looks. They're also incredibly charming, which help them when it comes to forming and maintaining relationships. No one can resist an Aries. Aries make good company. They're funny and extremely generous, but can sometimes come off as arrogant. They are worldly and love to share their knowledge, but they should do so with tact. Some people may find them conceited. They like to be in the driver's seat. However, their importance towards those who may not be as witty may make them seem arrogant. Aries may sometimes appear rash as they make impulsive decisions at times. They are indeed impulsive, but their intelligence helps them grasp ideas and situations and allows them to weigh the pros and cons. Aries are also able to evaluate the risks and advantages of a situation accurately and very quickly. One of Aries' best qualities is undoubtedly their sense of initiative. Armed with their horns, they never hesitate to get to the bottom of things and take the first step if necessary. They're innovators and excellent improvisers. Aries are also determined. If they undertake something, they see it through, whatever happens, and with unwavering strength. They do everything in an admirable, positive, and optimistic way. Everyone loves to be around Aries because they have considerable energy. Their good spirits are contagious, and anyone would dream of having their strength and enthusiasm. Dynamic and positive. People born between March 21st and April 20th have a unique, dynamic personality. They're aggressive people, but in a positive way. Imagine where this energy could lead them. Their assertive nature can make them move mountains. They don't bottle up their emotions and can quickly overcome stressful or uneasy situations. Aries don't want any hostility in their lives. They want to be they want to live simply and happily. That can get everything out in the open so that nothing prevents them from moving forward. Generally speaking, Aries get rid of harmful vibrations through their daily activities and natural spunk. They try to do it in a positive and constructive way. People born under this sign like to innovate and start new projects. Great things. Getting things underway and leading a movement or project give Aries wings. This is what makes them vibrant. This is what makes them vibrate. There's something young and fresh about them. Being in their company would boost anyone's morale. However, their can-do attitude also means they can sometimes be impatient. Young Aries are emotionally immature. They often try to hide their lack of experience or judgment behind exaggerated behaviors or scholarly knowledge that can make them seem condescending or arrogant. They'll sometimes generate excessive opinions or knowledge to make it seem as though they're totally in control of themselves. While this might actually reflect insecurity, their lack of maturity can be perceived in the fact that their reasoning sometimes shows a lack of judgment and might even be deemed simplistic. Aries are also somewhat naive. They trust everyone, and this innocence is attractive. While this may make Aries charming, they must exercise good judgment when trusting others. Aries aren't really known for their tact and aren't always skilled at really assessing someone. They are quick to judge according to what they feel and their intuition. And sometimes their intuition plays tricks on them. They don't take well to betrayal, and they have a hard time coping if their lives get too stressful. Aries have a very difficult time overcoming life's disappointments and obstacles. They may even get depressed if they feel like their lives are too difficult to handle. Energetic and sensitive. Aries often have energetic personalities and strive to achieve their goals. Aries will do everything in their power to do so. They're real fighters and try to avoid failure as much as possible. Nonetheless, Aries crave the approval and encouragement of others. They want to be recognized for their efforts and be respected for what they do and who they are. Behind the fighter's facade, they're extremely sensitive beings who only want to be loved. They're often anxious and have many fears. This anxiety can interfere with their goals and self-esteem, and their fears can hold them back. They'll try to compensate with irrational thoughts, which could push them to act against their instinct. As much as they don't like to do so, Aries must look inside themselves to cope. If not, their fears may get in the way of their self-confidence and strength. Since they try to avoid failure, Aries are very sensitive and have a constant fear of rejection. Their family and friends are clearly important to them, and they seek love and recognition through their eyes. The Aries specific tendency to judge at first glance and keep away those whom they think are not likely to display their affection or appreciation stems from their fear of rejection. As a defense, they prefer ending a relationship first. Aries will do whatever they can to avoid rejection and getting hurt. Also, they aren't the most tactful when it comes to rejecting someone, especially when they feel they might get rejected themselves. Although Aries are intelligent and able to evaluate the risk by taking every little bit into account before making a decision, it's a whole different story when it comes to their emotions. Aries are original, productive, and ambitious. Their initiative, independence, and especially their need to move forward help them reach their highest summits. Their ego, their I, that's so powerful and positive, is one of their strengths. Being of an active nature also helps them drive them constantly forward as long as they use their logic and reasoning. When they use all these qualities, there's no telling how far they'll go. Generally speaking, people born under the Aries sign usually behave in a pleasant, positive, and constructive way. They're extremely dynamic and usually manage to achieve their life's goals. Aries are driven by their healthy and powerful ego. They get this ego from the recognition and approval of others. Although they know that everything they do is done with heart and intensity, they'll still only believe it when they're praised by others. Aries' many ambitions and deep desires to succeed motivate them to achieve their goals. Materialistic, yet generous. Aries are very materialistic. They often define success according to one's wealth and materials possessions, which can come off as superficial. People born under this sign are undoubtedly clever and more interested in realistic and tangible things. Aries believe that people with lots of material things are happy and complete. They often forget the emotional and psychological aspects in their judgment. Abstract and intangible things don't usually appeal to Aries. They don't always understand the deeper value and don't try to. For them, what's important is what you can see. Some Aries are convinced that the only way to know if someone is successful is for the person to provide tangible proof of their success. When meeting Aries, they may seem on top of everything and even self-centered. In fact, their behaviors help them gain self-esteem and get the approval of others. That's also why they may seem superficial. The Aries are quite the opposite. They're actually sensitive and very generous people who care about the well-being of others. Although they're generally not very comfortable dealing with anything related to emotions, they have a heart of gold that's as big as the earth. Their great generosity, courage, and transparency prove that Aries are far from superficial. People born under the Aries sign can give an endless amount of time, money, and effort, pleasant and good confidants. They always try to be there for family, friends, whenever they are needed. However, Aries don't always say that what we'd like them to. If someone's wrong, they'll tell them right away, and not always tactfully. They do this not out of malice, but out of love and goodwill. There aren't really any gimmicks or lies with people born under this sign. Everything is clear-cut and specific. Aries aren't mean-spirited. They're just spontaneous and impulsive. But not all Aries are the same. Aries born during the first decan, March 21st and 31st, are expert planners and are good at overcoming obstacles. People born during the second decan stand out because of their excellent taste and creativity. Those from the third decan, or born between April 11th and April 20th, are more patient and well level-headed people. Stubborn and scared of rejection. The Aries personality. Aries who aren't well adjusted may see their power, dynamism, strength, and leadership transform into an oppressive roughness. Given that Aries are sensitive, some may experience nervous and emotional instability. This might cause them to become inconsiderate or even arrogant. Some Aries may also have a hard time being self-sufficient and disciplined. When they think that they're on the right path, it's impossible to change their mind. They don't want to hear anything and will simply continue on in the same direction. They believe that everyone else is wrong and that they're right. That's why they may have problems with their relationships. As mentioned above, Aries are usually looking for success. However, they don't handle failure and rejection well. Still, with their strength of character and sense of discipline, any Aries can bounce back from failure. People born under this sign often consider themselves smarter and more talented than others and will go so far as to feel superior. Aries who aren't well adjusted fear rejection like the others. However, when they can brush someone aside, they don't hesitate to do it at all. If an Aries has the misfortune of being rejected, they find a way to say that once again, the other person is wrong and won't try to understand the reason. That has been the overview of an Aries personality. Tune back in where we will discuss more about the Aries. We will discuss the love, the health, and various other topics. This has been Kicks and Giggles, and this has been the Aries personality. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if this is your first time viewing us and hearing my voice, take care.